The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and this is our time to talk taxes. And we're going to be with you from 3 to 4. And if you're somebody that's interested in just got a love letter from the IRS, haven't filed your return, you owe money, this is your place to get free tax advice. Our phone number here at studios, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And I'm joined in studio with my compadres, Tiffany Fabian. Hey, Tiff.
Hey there, Esther. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you, and Chris Fabian.
Hello,
Chris, you
Esther.
sound like you're on the other side of the world.
And happy Saturday on this long holiday weekend, which we all need and deserve.
That's true. And for everybody
Yeah.
in Florida, if you got Florida property, the good thing is I believe a federal disaster area was declared, was it not?
I just saw on the
Georgia?
Weather Channel for Georgia and South Carolina.
I
I'm
think
not
they declared
sure.
a federal disaster area for Florida, I think like a long time ago, because they knew it was going to get clobbered, or at least they thought it. But it's interesting. I saw something online. They said that being in a hurricane, waiting for a hurricane is like being stalked by a turtle, because the turtle takes so long to get there. And this is a lot like what it is. But if you are somebody that has property in Florida or any of the Carolinas, once they have declared a federal disaster area, you're entitled to a casualty loss, right?
Yep.
For everything
Right.
not covered plus 10%. And sometimes they remove the 10% of your adjusted gross income. So watch that, because that would be a gigantic deduction for you.
Huge.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody else has to get over those humps, whereas if you're in a natural disaster area, that is something that you don't have to worry
Well, of course,
about.
that's the only kind of casualty that's the only kind of casualty you can take anymore.
Right, except
Right,
for
it's gotta
maybe
be a
on New
national-
York State.
It's got to be a national disaster, except for New York State.
Right. That's right.
So, okay, so we're talking taxes. We have tax school starting here pretty soon, right?
We do. Our tax school starts October 13th. It meets twice a week, either in the mornings or evenings. It's free of charge. You do, however, have to purchase the book and the workbook. And the hope is that you'll come work at one of our 31 offices, and we teach you taxes from A to Z. And if you want to, you don't even have to come to the classroom. You can sit right there in your home, as
In your
Esther says,
jammies.
in your jammies, and take it online, which is really cool. And if you're interested, you can go to our website at egtax.com and click on Learn About Taxes and register that way. Or you can call our office, 632-7886, and we'll register you over the phone. But I know a lot of people this year and the last few years, it really has been ramping up their registering online.
Right. Well,
is
and a
cool.
lot of people love to just take the classes online.
Yep. Yeah. I know a lot of colleges are even for their daytime students are doing online classes. It's, saves on payroll for them. We don't do it for payroll. We do it for you, the convenience.
Well,
of-
actually, we think you coming to class is the best idea. There's
Exactly.
nothing like
Hands-on.
the synergy you get from other students in class who ask questions. The teacher tells stories, war stories of some of the people that we've seen all over all the years that maybe came in with 8 years tax returns and a gigantic debt and things that we've done to help them. So that really, I think it's like adding salt and pepper to seasoning your food. It's just a really great thing.
Yeah.
But again, if you can't make it and you can want to do it online, that's great. It's a great class online as well.
I also want to say this week I saw 2 people, Esther, with letters from New York State that said that they had a balance due because of freedom of information that they got from New York State that said that the IRS made a change to your return, and so we've got the information now, and so hence you owe money to New York State. But after I did some digging, we called the IRS. They didn't have a change to the return. And so I don't know what New York State was smoking, but I'm about to type up a letter and say that there was no change from the federal. I called several times for these clients. And so you don't owe this money. So the point is, if you get a letter, make sure that you have somebody look at it.
That's exactly right. I mean, whenever you get any, whether federal or state or any state, anytime somebody, or any bill, you should always scrutinize all your bills,
Yep,
right?
That's right.
There are bills that I've gotten, and like when I check my American Express every month, you go over everything. You want to make sure that you're not paying for somebody else's mistake, because people do make mistakes, right?
That's
All the
right.
time.
Yep.
And you know, I have people tell me all the time that a lot of you enjoy listening to the show. We love doing the show, love helping people. And by the way, the thrust of the show is going to be a lot about retirement planning, Social Security. When is it taxable? When should you take it? IRAs, required minimum distributions, how to make sure that you don't overpay because of your Social Security and things of that nature. So that's what the thrust of the show is. But one of the people that is a loyal listener is Barb, and we just wanted to give a shout out to Barb. Thank you for listening for all these years, and thank you for being a loyal client. So just thank you again. I wanted to do
Thank
that.
you.
The other
Yeah.
thing I saw this week was Ruth Bader Ginsburg was in town and got an honorary law degree from UB.
Right. Yep. I think
And
this.
and that's a very nice thing for
Buffalo.
UB.
Yeah,
That's a
Western New
very
York.
great thing. And praying for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She sits completely on the opposite end of my world from where I believe things should go. But I certainly am praying for her health and praying for her to have a speedy recovery.
She's so tiny and petite.
Yep,
Yeah,
she really
yeah.
is. Really is. Okay, let's talk again. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. Our text is 3930. You can text us your questions if you have any questions. And let's start off with, how is your people don't even know how your Social Security is taxable. I bet you a lot of people listening are going to say, I didn't know Social Security could be taxable. So let's explain that mystery. Let's try to break it down so people actually understand it.
Sure.
Yes, good idea.
Right. So first you want to look at all your income plus half your Social Security. So you're going to take your wages, your retirement, your investment income, your rental income, your self-employment, your gambling, all your income plus half of your Social Security. And if you're single and you make over $25,000, that figure is over $25,000, or if you're married filing joint and that figure is over $32,000, then your Social Security starts to become taxable. And it can go all the way up to 85% of your Social Security. It doesn't mean you're paying 85% tax on your Social Security.
Right, it just means that's up to 85% of your Social Security you received is taxable.
Correct.
So let's just do a very simple example. So let's say that you have $20,000 in Social Security, okay, and you have a pension of 10. Okay, and you have investments of 10. So you take the $10,000 pension plus the $10,000 in investments, that equals 20, right?
Right.
Plus how much of your Social Security?
Half. So that would be
So
another
that'd be another
10.
10. So that's 30, right?
Right.
If you're a married couple, 30,000 is less than 32. So how much of your Social Security would be taxable?
Zero.
Right?
Yes.
Right.
But let's say that you hit the lottery and you had $10,000 in lottery winnings. Now your income was $10,000 from lottery, $10,000 from pension, $10,000 from your investments, plus half of your Social Security, which is 10, because we're making it real easy. So now you got 40,000, right?
Right.
When you subtract 32, because you're married filing a joint return, from 40, is 40 greater than 32?
Yes.
By $8,000, right?
Right.
So that would mean half of that number, which is 4,000, is the taxable portion of your Social Security.
Correct.
And that's how it works.
Well, that
Right.
sounds very easy. Not.
Well, people don't know how it works. Now, the important, all right, so then that means on your tax return, the 4,000 would be there on your total income. And we already know that the income is 10 and 10 and 10, which is 30, plus the 4, which is 34, but they get to take then their standard deduction, and if they're over the age of 65, they would get 24,000 plus a little extra for being over 65, so they might have very, very, very low taxable income.
Right.
Yep. And you want to talk to David on the other side of the break?
Yeah, okay, I know, I gotta shut up. This is Esther Gilius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. 3930 is our text. We gotta take a break. We'll be back on the other side. Hey, that's our new theme song. A theme song. I'm so glad I got like a lisp here. Theme song.
Theme song.
Because you are family to us, and we want to help you. I'm Esther Gilius, the tax lady from EG Tax,
Yep.
with Tiffany Fabian, Christopher Fabian, and we have Dave that's been waiting, right?
Yes.
Hey, Dave, how can we help you?
Yes, and the software that was used to do my taxes for 2018 kept blocking my earned income credit. I turned 65 in September 2018. Do I lose earned income credit at age 65?
Do you have children living with you?
I do not.
All right, so 25 to 65 is the range for people without children who have lower income to qualify for the earned income credit. So had you had a child in your home that was a qualifying individual, then you would still have gotten the earned income credit. But once you hit age 65, it's gone.
So sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
it. But I mean, it's a blessing for all the years that you got it, right?
And you could still, while you're working, it's not, you must hopefully get earned income credit because you're working, unless it's a pension that you roll up to wages because you're
Not if
disabled.
you're not when you're 65.
Well, I was going to say he could still put money into an IRA to the age of 70 and a half and just some benefits.
Right,
if
but he
he's
won't
still-
get the earned income credit is the point.
Right. I
Yeah,
got that.
right,
I'm
yeah.
just trying to turn
But there
something
are other
negative
things.
into
Probably,
something
do you
positive.
have any taxable income at all, Dave?
Yes, I do. Very, very little. I just work. I work two part-time jobs, and I think between the two part-time jobs, probably about $14,000 a year. Plus,
Okay, so your standard deduction being 12, so you have a very small liability. But Tiffany brings up a great point.
'Cause he's probably
If
getting
you were to
Social
put money into an IRA, you would qualify for the pension savers credit.
Because are you getting Social Security now, Dave?
oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah. I was.
good.
I was getting disability, and then I just got a letter from Social Security this week because I'm turning 66. I'm going off of Social Security disability and getting regular Social Security starting in September when I turn 66.
Yep.
Right, and then they're going to have you start paying your Medicare, right?
Oh yeah, well I've been paying Medicare.
You've been paying Medicare, right? But what Tiffany's bringing up, the point she's bringing up is that there is something called a pension savers credit, and you could put very little, maybe $500 in, and he'd get a credit of almost $500.
Yep, up to
So
50%. So
up
about
to 50%, yeah. So that would wipe out his liability altogether, and it's still his money.
correct. Yep.
Call us if you have questions
Right.
about it. A lot of my clients use that tool.
Right.
What was that called again? I'm sorry.
It's called a pension savers credit, where you can put money into an IRA, and they're going to give you a credit up to 50% of what you put in. So in your situation, you don't need to put much in to wipe out your liability. So you save the taxes, which might be $250, and you still have the money in your pension plan. And you're over the age of 59 and a half, so you can take it out anytime you want without penalties. So it's a legal way to make over 50% savings.
Yeah, it just tells me that they take away the earned income credit when I need it the most, when I'm a retired senior citizen.
Sure.
Take it away. You know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like it-
Well, thank God you're still working. That's great.
Yeah.
So, well,
But you're
thanks for
right.
calling.
You're right.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930 star 930 on a cell phone. Tiff, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was. We were talking about Social Security, and one of my clients came in this week, and I've been his preparer accountant for years and years. I'm talking over 10 years. And he retired, and he's got a pension, a union pension, and it's like over $50,000 a year. And he started getting his Social Security about 5 months ago. And when I ran the numbers, Esther, he was going to owe about $8,000 because with his pension, his wages from a little bit of wages from 19 and his Social Security, he was going to owe about $8,000 or $9,000 because he wasn't aware that his Social Security was taxable. And there's so many people out there that hear what the neighbor is saying over the fence or talk to somebody else who doesn't know. And so we quickly changed that, and he actually has to do an estimate in order to get him out of the muck that he's in for 2019.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. If you have a change in your life situation, if you start collecting Social Security, if you're retired, if you've changed your marital status, you got babies, you lost babies, kids are in college, you're getting a divorce, all that kind of stuff, it really is a good thing to give us a call at EG Tax. We'd be very happy to point you in the right direction to make sure that you're not surprised at tax time, because and the thing is, once the year is up, we only got like 4 months now left. Once the year closes on December the 31st, in most situations, there's nothing much that you can do to facilitate a change to your tax liability. So you want to make sure that you know now so that you can take advantage of everything possible before it's too late. It just so happens that when we had the last gentleman that called, Dave, I think it was, you can still do the IRA even during tax season. So that's one of the few things that is still open after December 31st. But most every other change in the tax law that can be facilitated yourself by tax planning has to be before December 31st, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And why don't we go back to the phones, and we're going to talk to Mike. Hey, Mike.
Hello.
How are you, sir? How can we help you?
I am well, except I'm. Since I heard you talk about Social Security, I said this is probably the best time for me to talk about this. I'm currently 67 and a half years old.
Okay.
I am not collecting Social Security at this time. I am paying for my Medicare. My wife has recently turned 65. She will start collecting based on my Social Security when she turns 66.
Uh-huh.
I guess my questions are, is it best to start, for me to start collecting Social Security January 1st, or they got me really confused on this thing. To go back what they said, I can go back 6 months and get about $16,000 in one lump sum. Because I'm wondering, are there any charts or anything to look for so I can figure out what is going to happen as far as tax consequences?
Okay, so the tax consequences are almost minor to. Are you and your wife have any other source of income besides the Social Security?
Yes, I have a pension of about $55,000 a year.
Okay, any other source of income?
Yes, I like I said, I don't want to be just sitting at home, so I make approximately $13,000 a year, but I have that offset by putting that into an IRA and a
Oh, you're so smart.
IRA.
Good for you. I mean, see, now here's a guy that's making money,
Oh, that is-
and he knows that if he saves it,
Minimum.
he's really never lost it, because it's true, he doesn't have to have it to spend because he's putting it away in his IRA. But the great thing is that money is still there when he needs it. So that's very wise of you. Okay, so here's the thing. If you wait till 70 to collect, each year that you don't collect, they allow you to increase the amount that you were supposed to get by 8% a year. So if you wait for 67, 66, 67, 68, and 69, if you wait the 4 years, that would be 32% less that you would get if you didn't wait till you're 70. But here's how the numbers shake out. Let's say that you were getting $2,000 a month you should have been getting at age 66. If you wait to 70, that means that you will get an extra $640 a month in Social Security. So that means that that's an additional $76.80 per year. But you're giving up $24,000 a year, which means that you've given up $96,000 to get an extra $76.80 a month. I mean a year. So in essence, if you wait till 70, it takes till you're 82 and a half to break even. Now there are some people that say, well, I at least after 82 and a half, I get the money, and that is true. But you really have to realize when you don't collect, then they're keeping your money, and you get it in an installment. And if you die in 5 years, the money they didn't pay you, they're not going to come to the funeral parlor and give it to you. So that's what you have to decide once you put a pencil to it. And again, it's 8% a year. That would be 32% times the amount you should have gotten. That's the extra amount you're going to get per month. But remember, you gave up, in this situation, $96,000 to get the $7,000. Okay, so you gotta work out the numbers, and if you want to come in, we're very happy. There's no charge to sit down over your situation and look at everything.
And on our
and it is
website-
true, you're going to end up paying 85%.
Chris, on our website, there's a
There's the work.
calculator.
Yep. There's a worksheet that shows you what your Social Security will be and how long it would take to catch up.
But if you don't understand it, call our office, and for no charge, people come in all week and sit
Right,
down.
but I
and
mean, we don't know
crunch the
exactly
numbers.
what his Social Security is going to be until he talks to Social
Right.
Security. Right, but it's the step-by-step formula that I just did that you can do in your own kitchen table and say to yourself, gee, Stella, do we want to give up the $100,000 so that we are at 82 and a half, we're break even, or do we want to go on that world cruise? You know.
Right.
Hey, it sounds like I got a break for the news. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. We got your calls coming in. We will be back with your calls on the other side in a minute. Hey, we are family, and to us, your family. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, joined in studio with Chris Fabian, Tiffany Fabian. And during the week, if you're getting love letters, if you owe money to the IRS, they start collecting. Maybe you stuck your head in the sand and you didn't want to deal with it, and now they're taking your money out of your paycheck. We will help you. We love helping people, and many of the things that we do, we don't charge for. Correct, guys? Hello.
Yep.
Absolutely. Many of the things that we do, we don't charge for. I was sitting with somebody doing a consultation. He's like, really? Nothing? Are you sure? And so we don't, and we just want to help you. And as you say, and I say, and Chris say, we just want to bless people.
Right, that's for sure. Okay, let's go back to the phones. We have our patient, Jim, waiting. Hey, Jim, how can we help you, sir?
Hi, Esther. This is Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Question about parking. In
Okay.
2017, they fiddled with the tax law, and now employers have to charge or count the actual cost of parking and split that up among the employees somehow and add it to their income. And I'm wondering how that works, and can they just pick which employees they want to assess it to, or like if I don't drive to work, can I ask them to say, portion it to other people? What are their options?
Okay, Chris.
Yep. Well, I would say it's people who take advantage of the parking they're offering. So if you're not using their parking lot, then you don't have to get charged the money for the increase or allocation of the parking fee. So
But there is nothing in stone. I mean, there's no law that says how they have to do it.
right.
So it's going to come down to what your employer is saying that they're going to do. And you guys need to sit down and find out from your employer how they're determining who's going to be taxed on it and who isn't. But under law, there's nothing that I know of that says how an employer has to allocate the parking that they're paying for their employee.
Okay, that's good. And how do they calculate how much the parking actually costs?
Well, what it would be like I know Roswell has the ramp, and I'm going to say it's like $100 a month to get a parking permit. So if you're an employee of Roswell, that's $100 that they would add to your W-2 at the end of the year. If you're
$100 a month to me.
Right, and
Yeah.
and the thing is, and let's say you're in the 15% bracket, so it's going to cost you to put it down to dollars and cents. It would cost you $15 in a year.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not like you want to pay $15, but it isn't like it's not like the amount that they're going to add onto your W-2 is going to be 100% that you have to pay in taxes.
All right. And what if your employer isn't actually adding that to your W-2?
Then there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and what are they doing with it?
Well, they're just not paying attention to that portion of the tax law.
Okay, well, again, if you're getting a benefit that is not a tax-free benefit, it's up to you then to put it on your tax return to include the income.
Right, but the only reason that they're putting it
If
on
he
your
took-
is
if
they're
he took
paying
the
the parking
benefit.
for
Right,
you.
That's right.
Right.
I'm saying
Right.
if he took advantage of it,
Right.
and it's like anything. If you're involved in something, for instance, illegal or unethical, it's up to you to put that money on the tax return, because just because it's something illegal or unethical doesn't mean it isn't taxable.
I like that parking is now illegal and unethical.
No, I'm just saying if. I'm not saying that is necessarily. But again, if something should be taxable, then it would be up, and your employer is just not including it in. But again, it should be de minimis. Something like that should be a de minimis benefit, as far as I could see.
Oh, I looked at it, and it's $20 a month is
And
the.
you said 12, right?
No, I was giving an example
Oh,
like Roswell.
okay,
So if it's $20 a month, you're looking $240 a year, which is next to nothing that it's going to cost you on your tax return.
Right.
Well, when I read it, though, it said they have to include everything: the value of the land, the cost of building the lot, the striping, the protection, any aspect of the parking. And that can add up to quite a bit of money.
Okay, but again, it'd be depreciable after, because it's not a brand new garage.
No.
Right? So, I mean, it would be depreciable. Believe me, they're under the gun that they have to do it correctly. So there's a bean counter somewhere in your sphere of influence that's figuring out what would be fair market value for you guys to include on your W-2. And it's not going to be a lot of money.
Okay.
All right.
Yay.
Hey, good luck,
Good
Jim.
question.
Yeah, good question. Wow, it is really unusual. That one is unusual. Let's go back to the phones. I'm Esther Gilius, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. And we have a mystery person.
Joe from Williamsville.
Hey, Joe, how are you? Hello, Joe.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, what's new?
I'm sorry. I was involved here, and I'm yelling. My wife is yelling at me, and I'm yelling at her.
Oh, I thought it was my birthday and you were saying surprise.
What can we do for you, sir?
I was listening to the radio earlier, and I have reached 70 and a half,
Okay.
and I'm forced to take
RMD.
Required minimum distribution.
yes. And I've already taken, there was like $2,000 that they sent me a check for. Okay, fine. I took that $2,000 and put it in a high interest money market account where I'm
Okay,
getting
you got 2.5%, 3%. Okay.
But they were talking about, instead of doing that, taking the money and buying an insurance policy that would, of course, I don't know if that doesn't even sound right to me, that you could then hold on to and leave for your heirs after you pass.
Okay.
Is that like an annuity? Chris?
Okay, so if you were to take, all right, that once you pay the taxes on it, that's your money. You can do whatever you want. You can go put a deposit down on roller skates. You can buy an insurance policy. You can put it in the bank. You can use it for a vacation. It's your money. Okay, so what they're suggesting is that if you take that $2,000 to pay for a life insurance policy, all right, then upon your passing, let's say it's a $100,000 policy, upon your passing, then your heirs would get the $100,000 tax-free. Now, and that would be completely true. However, if all you did was put your $2,000 from your RMD into a mattress, and you for 30 years you took your $2,000 and put it in the mattress. Whatever was accumulated, your heirs would get that tax-free as well.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay? The thing is, life insurance is tax favored, and so you would get more money out of a life insurance policy that maybe you were just paying. Let's say you started, you had your life insurance policy, and it's a term policy, and they say $2,000 buys you $100,000, and you die next year, and all you put in is $2,000. Your heirs will get the $100,000 completely tax free.
Gotcha.
Now, but here's the problem. Once you get to be a senior and you're 70 and a half, nobody really wants to give you life insurance.
I was going to say, I
anymore.
don't think you can get an insurance policy
Well,
for
you can. There's those ones like you see Alex Trebek saying,
Right.
for 35 cents a day or a unit or something like that, you can get life insurance. It is true, but you're not going to get something that is going to be affordable once you're age 70 and a half.
Correct.
Okay?
I-
So that's
just doing what
The rub.
that's the story.
I think I'm better taking the proceeds that I get and putting them into the money market. Now,
I agree, because the only thing that's going to be taxed ultimately on your money market is going to be the interest that the money market earns. So if in your $2,000 you earn $600 in interest next year, then you're going to pay taxes at your tax bracket on the $600, which might be, let's say, 10%. So it's going to cost you $60 in taxes to make $600 if you made it in your investments. So you're still netting $540. And then if that grows upon your death, your heirs still get that money tax-free.
And I was going to say, Esther, chime in. If you're a charitable soul, the charitable withdrawal right to a charitable qualified charity 501c3 is another good option.
Right,
for
that's
Joe.
true. In other words, if do you give to charities every year, Joe?
I do. Yes,
So-
I hand pick them.
All right, so let's say that
I do.
your charitable contributions total $2,000. You can actually go to your IRA holder and say, hi, this is Joe, and instead of sending me the money this year for my RMD, I want you to give $500 to the Red Cross, $500 to St. Philip's Church,
Right.
$500. All right, and there's the $2,000. They send the money directly to your qualified charities, and none of it's taxable to you.
Great. One last question. I have a choice, as everybody does, in taking either a lump sum or taking it monthly. Which am I better? Right now, the first time I took a lump sum, but I'm thinking next year in 2020 to take it monthly.
That's up to you, whatever you like better.
Yeah. So
I mean, if it's $2,000, it's $100 and some dollars a month. It's not that much money, $180 a month, right? So it's not that much money, but maybe you can do more with a lump than a little. So it's up to you. However, whatever you want to do, it's your decision.
So it doesn't make a difference tax-wise or anything?
It does not.
Okay.
You just have to make sure that in that calendar year, you've taken your required minimum distribution, because the penalty for failure to do that is 50% of the money you didn't take out.
Right. Now, my wife and I want to have you look at our taxes for next year for 2020.
Okay.
Who do I call? What number do I?
You just call our corporate headquarters at 632-7886. 7886.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
All right, Joe. Have a great Labor Day. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, with Tiffany Fabian, Christopher Fabian, and myself, the tax lady. And we're here Saturdays from 3 to 4, and we're taking your questions if you have any questions. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and you can text us at 3930.
Esther, I
That
want
was
to
interesting.
I
Yeah.
want to say that I reviewed somebody's return during the week, and they went to another accounting agency, and that accounting agency missed their Schedule D, and also they missed the foreign tax credit, and also their U.S. savings bonds interest. They didn't back away from the state, so after they left, they were a couple $1,000s more happy than when they first came in.
It's
So-
really important that
Yeah.
you have a thorough interview when your taxes are being prepared. You want to make sure you sit down with your preparer so that they're going over everything and asking you things so that you know. Now, you bring up something called a foreign tax credit. Now,
Right.
people might think, oh, that sounds so mystical. I don't go to any foreign countries. You don't have to go to a foreign tax. You don't have to go to a foreign country to have a foreign tax credit, do you?
No, it's your investments,
In your mutual funds,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
So why don't you explain that, Chris, before we take our break?
Sure. So your investments can be invested. Imagine that your investments are invested into Canada, into Germany, into different countries across the world. Well, those countries want their share of your money as well. So your investments have to pay tax to that foreign country. Well, the government says, well, since you're a U.S. resident and you're paying tax to that different country, we're going to give you a dollar-for-dollar credit for that tax you paid to that country. So,
Which then reduces your tax liability on the federal return,
correct.
right? So even though you've never set foot in Germany or France or Italy, if your investment that you don't know anything about because you turned it over to your stockbroker has invested in those countries, and those countries have assessed a tax on your money, again, that you don't know about, when you get your 1099 at the end of the year, there is something in there that is called a foreign tax. Taxes paid to a foreign country. Your accountant wants to make sure that they have picked that up because you would do a foreign tax credit, and that would reduce the liability on your taxes by whatever the taxes you paid to that foreign country. And if you don't think it's on there, pull out your 1099 and look at all of the distributions that came out of your investments, and you will see foreign taxes paid, and that qualifies for an 1116, which is a foreign tax credit.
Yippers.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Esther Gilius, the tax lady. We're going to take a short break. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 and a cell phone. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back on the other side with your questions.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me.
I love that movie anyway. Did you ever see The Birdcage, you guys?
Yes.
That
Yes.
was a funny
That was a
movie.
good
I love that
movie.
movie. And I said I saw that about 3 weeks ago, and I thought, what a great song. That's how I feel about my clients. They're my family. Anyway, I'm Esther Gilius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. And I know we have Tom that's been waiting. Hey, Tom, how can we help you, sir?
Oops, hold on. That was
Tom,
me.
hold
Hold
on.
on. There we go. There's Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Hey, what can we help you with?
Question on when you convert from a traditional IRA to
To a
a
Roth.
IRA, is it better to have the tax withheld or just pay them at tax time?
Okay, so here's the thing. Let's say that you got a traditional IRA and you say I want to roll it over into a Roth. So you say to your broker, take out the taxes, which are going to be around $20,000. So now you only have $80,000 to roll over,
Okay.
right? Because if they take it out, you don't have that money to roll over, right? So that means that only 80,000 of that 100,000 would have actually been rolled over. But realize you're paying the taxes up front. Why would you want to do that?
That's correct. No, I wouldn't. No.
Right. Well, I'm really glad I talked to you.
Yeah, why
because
do you want to convert your traditional to a Roth? You got
I mean,
that
so
question,
many. It's
right?
really interesting because this is something I was going to talk about today. So many people don't realize that, especially once you become a senior, your standard deduction is so high. Your Social Security in many cases are not taxable. So all you have is your IRAs to take out, and many people don't have to pay taxes at all on it. So that means that you're going to roll over this lump sum of money into a Roth, which wouldn't have been taxable before, but is now taxable because you took so much out. So before you do anything, please call us. Which
Yeah.
you did, which I'm very proud that you did.
I mean, do you get lots of money every year? Besides, do you work? Do you have other pensions, Tom?
Right. Now, I have a pension, and this is actually like a conversion from the traditional to the Roth.
Right, and that conversion, when you go from a traditional to a Roth, is
pay the
fully
taxes.
taxable.
Right.
So that hurts.
And is your pension a big government pension every year?
It's a New York State pension, yes.
So like, what are we talking? 45,000?
Approximately right in that area.
Okay. So that means, are you single, married?
Married.
And are you both collecting Social Security?
No, not yet.
Not yet. So you're under the age of 66?
I'm 63.
Does your wife
Right.
still work?
No, we're both retired.
All right. So if you took, well, how much money are we talking that you wanted to roll over to your Roth?
I'm approximately 30,000 a year, maybe.
All right. So if you do the 30,000, you're going to be taxed at about 15% on that, so about $4,500 a year you'll pay in taxes on the federal, and then on New York State you'll also have some liability because they only exclude your New York State pension fully and the first 20,000 of your IRA. Yes,
And then it's going to make more of his Social Security taxable too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And
It's really not.
potentially
It's really
increases Medicare tax.
You know, I know that you live in Marilla. I used to live in Marilla. It's a little ride out to Tonawanda, but I would suggest you come in so you can take a look at this, because once you do it, you can't undo it. It used to be that you could, at tax time, when you found out, oh, I shouldn't have done this, you could reclassify it, but you can't do this anymore. So once you do it, it's in stone. So I would suggest you come on out, Tom. There's no charge, and we're very happy to help you.
Okay, very good.
All right, thank you for calling.
Yep. And I know I've had clients who play with their tax return to do the conversion where they know, oh, I have 2 kids in college that's starting college, so that's going to be a $5,000 credit with our income. I can convert X amount of dollars to a Roth and still pay no tax. Or they went solar and they got a big credit on the federal for the solar, so they put money way into the, if you have credits out there that you can take advantage of, or your income's low enough where you don't have to pay taxes, and you can take extra out and put it in a Roth IRA, you can do that as well.
Right.
And you really want to do what Tom did, ask the right questions, because there's so many people, like I mentioned, his Medicare that he pays every year will go up because of there's consequences to
That's
all
exactly
your
right.
actions.
If you
and so,
whatever shows up on that tax return can affect your Medicare too.
Yeah. And so you really want to make sure you plan before you make these.
So it was really interesting because the next point I wanted to make on my little list here is be very careful when you're adding additional income to your tax return, such as converting money to IRAs, gambling, because it makes your Social Security up to 85% taxable. So let's say in a situation that somebody had no taxable Social Security and they did this Roth conversion, and let's say that they were converting $40,000. Well, this would make their Social Security 85% taxable, making $34,000 of that $40,000 taxable. And if they're in the 20% bracket, they end up paying $6,800 extra in taxes on no extra income.
Yeah.
So they already had that $40,000 in Social Security, and they got no more income. It's just that now that they have other forms of income, it made it 85% taxable. So you want to be very, very careful.
Right.
Because a lot of people will say to me, Esther, I didn't get any extra income. All I had was that gambling money, and I lost it all. Unfortunately, the gambling income is on one side, and the itemized deduction is on the other side, making your Social Security more taxable.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about the Roth, of course, if you're so inclined, is that it grows tax-free, and that when your heirs inherit the Roths,
That's tax-free.
that's tax-free.
Right. But again, somebody's paying taxes up front.
Right.
Right? And just, again, it all comes down to tax planning. You want to make sure you can tax plan. A lot of other people wonder how much I can make before I have to start paying back my Social Security. So if you're under the age of 66 and you want to start collecting your Social Security, you can have wages up to $17,650 without having to pay back any of your Social Security.
Right. And that's $1 for every $2 you're over. So if you were to make $20,000, that's $2,350 you're over. So that would be $1,175 you would have to pay back.
Right?
Yep. And it doesn't have to be one check. They can reduce your next year's checks, or they can withhold 1 month's check altogether if that's what it is. So there's 3 different ways you can do that to pay that.
And if you're working, you can put much of that money, and especially if a non-working spouse, you can put much of that money into your IRAs, and you can put in how much this year, Chris?
For 2019, an IRA is $6,000. And if you're over 50, it's an extra $1,000. So now you can put away up to $7,000.
Right.
That's not bad.
Right, so it's $14,000 a couple if you have a non-working spouse, right?
Right.
So if you're making $17,000 and you can put 14 away in your into your IRA, you're now sheltering the $14,000, and you're only going to have $3,000 hanging out there to be taxed.
Yep. And that's what we were talking to that caller earlier when we said put money into an IRA, and maybe you'll be privy to the retirement savers credit.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, another thing you can do is sell losing stocks, because you can take the dollar for dollar loss against income, right? Dividends and long-term capital gains plus $3,000. So if you are talking to, you want to make sure you talk to your stockbroker if you have losing stocks. I know the last couple of weeks have been a roller coaster on the stock exchange. But if you have a losing stock, you can take a dollar for dollar against your gainers plus $3,000. So in this situation, if we had somebody making 17 who put $14,000 away into an IRA and he had $3,000 in losers, he doesn't pay any taxes on his wages.
Right.
Right?
And then I just want to say before we're off the topic of Social Security, which we sort of are, don't forget if you're somebody who's getting Social Security and you find out how much you're going to get every month, but if you were married to somebody and now that you're divorced or they're deceased, if you were married for at least 10 years, you could get a portion of what their Social Security was, and it could be a higher portion. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, and talking to the Social Security Administration, I know it takes a long time to wait for them to answer the phone, but it really is worthwhile because you want to make sure that you're getting everything and you've structured everything in the right way. And it just seems so daunting, doesn't it? That there are so many options that we have to know in order to make sure that we get the money that we're entitled to. And that's where EG Tax is your family. Because we will help you, we'll do the heavy lifting, we'll help you to make those phone calls. I know Tiffany's like queen of the three-way caller, right?
That's right. She's very good
All right,
at it.
if you have any questions, if you feel like coming to tax school, we will keep you off the streets during the winter. You can go to our website at egtax.com. Until next week, if you have any questions, you haven't been filing, you're behind the 8 ball. Remember, extension deadline's coming up October the 15th. Don't wait till the end to do your tax return. I'm Esther Galias, the tax lady, with Christopher Fabian, Tiffany Fabian. Give us a call during the week. Have a great week. God bless you. Bye-bye.